My name is Lyndall Lawton. I'm Senior Curator at the South Australian Maritime Museum. Bound for South Australia essentially is an exhibition marking the 175th anniversary of the first colonists to arrive in South Australia in 1836. Our umbrella organisation, History SA, developed a blog which tracked the first 9 voyages in real time using excerpts from diaries, exploring the experience of passengers on board. As part of the project, we used that information to develop this exhibition. Okay, so this exhibition essentially looks at the settlement of South Australia in 1836. It looks at the motivations for why people were sent here or came here, the sort of migrants that were recruited to populate South Australia, and their experience on the long sea voyage. So there were 9 ships involved in that first wave of migration. The famous one is the Buffalo that carried Hindmarsh, the first governor of the colony, and there were about 540 people who came out. So the idea was that they would recruit labourers, fit young people, often with families, to come over to the new colony. They would work, and land would be available at prices that were steep enough for them not to buy land straight away, but to buy it later. And then with that money, they would fund further immigrants to come to South Australia. Yeah, so what we've tried to do in this exhibition is also give a sense of what that sea voyage would have been like for the migrants. We already had the cabins in this exhibition area. They've been here since 1986. This cabin is a 19th century cabin. So the idea was to sort of build on that, to tell the story of how it felt to be a migrant travelling then. So we have a selection of objects on display. Some of them are borrowed, some of them are from our collection. We've got some wonderful objects from what we call the Historic Relics collection, and we acquired that from the Art Gallery of South Australia in about 1984, and this collection dates right back to 1836. It includes relics from the Buffalo, so bits of wood from those first ships. It includes things like this stone here, which is engraved with the words or the letters WL, supposedly engraved by William Light at Rapid Bay. We have in our own collection beautiful ship models that really show you how those first ships looked, their size, the sort of comforts, so people get a sense of how big the vessels were. We have some lovely objects linked to Proclamation Day and the commemoration of the first landing. We have a little chunk of grass that was picked by Bessie Fisher, the daughter of James Hertel Fisher, on the first Proclamation Day. And we have some wonderful items that are more generic, not linked with specific voyages, but tell the story of how people ate on board. We have some pickled beef on display that dates back to 1897, and is the sort of thing, it's called biltong, that passengers, particularly in steerage, consumed. And then we have our cabin, which has lots of bunk beds, and they're very narrow, and actually 2 people were squeezed into that space, so it gives people a real sense of how crammed those quarters were.